In 1999, while assigned to Joint Task Force 6 in the Southwest region on the U.S.-Mexican border, we tested and confirmed the feasibility of using UAVs, or unmanned aircraft vehicles, if you will, for counter-drug interdiction mission. So you see, reservists do get to do cool and interesting stuff, contrary to the popular belief that we march around all day doing nothing. Another thing I will miss dates back to the days when I was a junior enlisted, and that being up on the bridge, driving the ship as a helmsman and lead helmsman. It's funny how those things never get away, or you never forget them. It was cool being able to drive a multi-thousand-ton warship. I'll miss those times when I had the mid watch on the beautiful clear nights and watch the Milky Way. Amazing that the only lights on were the ship's running light, the port star. Lastly, I will miss basic training. This may sound funny, but I had a fun time at the San Diego Recruit Training Command in December of 1967. Remember that final scene in An Officer and a Gentleman where Richard Gere's character tells Lou Gossett, Marine Sergeant, he won't ever forget him? Well, it's true. You never forget your basic training instructor. Mine was SM-1 George W. Hester, Singleman First Class, a rate that's no longer here today. A crusty old salt if ever there was one. Some of the things he said aren't even printable for bathroom reading. Our basic training was only 2 weeks, hence the name we received, 2-week wonders. But lest you think it was a picnic, it was anything but. Those were some of the most intensive 2 weeks of military training and instruction I ever encountered. And this during the time when the Vietnam War was really ramping up and more people were needed to fight that war. So did I learn a lot during those 2 weeks? You betcha. For starters, I learned how to march and walk so as not to trip over my feet. In particular, once a year when I participate with San Jose Ballet in their annual Nutcracker Run, I even teach other non-dancing performers how to march and walk without tripping over their feet. On the other hand, what I probably won't miss is 60 guys bunking together in one big, long room in a World War II era barracks. Do you know what it's like trying to get some sleep while having to listen to the snoring of the other 59 guys? A cliche that's used a lot in life could be looked at one long journey, a journey full of peaks and valleys one has to go through. My Navy journey is no less different. My 13 months and 9 days in the river of the Mekong Delta and then South Vietnam as a river rat, and the subsequent next several years afterward could be characterized as my valley. Those were difficult years that my wife could attest to. There were times during this period when I was within a hair's breadth of getting out of the Navy altogether. Certainly once I received my degrees and was ready to move on with my life. In 1978, it took a unit CO who saw something in me, which to this day I'm still trying to figure out what, and recommended I should apply for Navy commission. What with my 13 years of enlisted service and undergraduate and graduate degrees, he thought I would make a good Navy engineer. So not expecting anything but to get out, I applied for a commission as a Navy engineer. 18 months later, I received a phone call telling me I was accepted. I was so startled and shocked by the call, I actually asked the lieutenant who called me if I was on candid camera. And I'm sure he in turn wondered if they made the right choice in selecting me for a commission at that point. The years after that is what I would call my long climb out of the valley, up the mountain, starting with my receiving a commission as a Lieutenant JG or junior grade in February of 1980, moving from engineering to marketing and management at the high-tech company I was working for in 1980, and finally in 1981, getting married. Magical years. But that wasn't quite the end, however. 2001 was another year where a valley occurred. A year I would almost like to forget. First, my beloved mother-in-law passed away. Then I got laid off and became a high-tech refugee. In the middle of my vacation, no less. And finally, 9/11 occurred. If there's one thing the military teaches, and the Navy included, you learn to adapt, you learn to improvise, and you learn to adjust. By 2003, that's just what happened. After having been informed in one of my high-tech job interviews that I was now too old to get back into the field, I decided to adapt and adjust to the economic condition and go into healthcare. Now I'm on the staff of Kaiser Department of Radiology, taking x-rays and really enjoying it. But I'm still a naval engineer at heart, and that will never go away. That will always be a part of me, but I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss practicing my crafts and skills. Looking back over 41 years of service, it's amazing how we in the Navy progress in the way we do business. For example, I still have a copy of my 1969 active duty orders done on a mimeograph machine. I'm afraid to hold it too long, since it might crumble like some old parchment paper. And for some of you younger folks out there, your assignment is to go find out what a mimeograph machine is. Who remembers the credit card slips showing those drill dates? I still have mine. Now here we are in the digital networking age, and we're able to do nearly all our business in cyberspace. Just think, from the mimeograph machine to the wireless age. And before I forget, I have in my hand copies of the 1978 series of study guides for the Engineering Duty Qualification Program, as well as a 1979 copy of a handbook for newly commissioned officer. I wonder if any of my fellow ED officers out there need them. I certainly don't have any more need for them. There was a time when the most advanced technology available we had aboard ship was the so-called Mark I able analog computer used for fire control calculation. Either that or even slide rulers were used. Remember when data inputs for the Mark I able were done by hand cranks and knobs? Vacuum tubes were very much in vogue then as well. Now we have full digital readouts, solid-state micro and miniature circuits and equipment on board ship. And speaking of ships, does anybody remember President Reagan's goal of a 600 ship Navy? Or for that matter, the concept of TQL? Now we have a goal of a 313 ship Navy and Lean Six Sigma process. President Obama said, if there's anyone out there who still doubts America is a place where all things are possible, well, it is possible. It is possible to go from a seaman recruit to a captain. And I am proud to be one of the few to accomplish that. And in fact, I'm proud to be one of the few Asians who have reached that rank, to have reached that senior officer rank status. With deference to my daughter, Erin, sorry, sweetheart, I know you wanted me to make Admiral, and I suppose Admiral Ching does have a nice ring to it. But first off, the job's already taken, and second, in the immortal words of Dirty Harry, a man's got to know his limitation. That said, I just knew the time had come for me to go on to the next phase of my life. So Erin, I'm sorry I didn't make Admiral, but being the daughter of a Navy captain can't be all that bad, considering those sailors will still take a couple of steps back after you tell them about me. So what have I been asked will I be doing in my retirement? No, I don't know just yet. I do know I'll have time to finish the Harry Potter series. My wife Eva has read the entire series twice.